Good afternoon, everyone. Quite a sight at the old Kmart building this afternoon. A pipe burst during demolition, creating a fountain of water springing up from the roof. The water could be seen from blocks away, towering at about 50 feet in the air. Crews reported flooding inside the building just before noon. They say water is supposed to be turned off prior to the demolition of a structure, but they didn't say why the water remained on or whose responsibility the spill is. New for you at 4, Grand Forks police have confirmed the cause of death for the Grand Forks man that went missing last month. Police discovered the body of Anthony Valdez while conducting a missing persons search on February 10th. The autopsy report indicates Valdez died of hypothermia. His death was classified as accidental. Valdez was last seen leaving Level 10 nightclub February 6th. Police say his body was found in an alley nearby. An update on the man police say attempted to choke out a Clay County canine. 36-year-old Martin Torres Jr. is facing a laundry list of charges, including 2 counts of felon in possession of a firearm, fleeing an officer, and harming a police dog. Court documents say on March 13th, the Clay County deputies got into a car chase that eventually hit a dead end, and the suspect vehicle was stuck in a snowbank. The canine bit and attempted to hold Torres, who was tased and still fled on foot through the snow. The canine was again released, and Torres grabbed it by the neck and began trying to choke the dog, according to documents. If convicted on the most serious charges, Torres faces up to 15 years in prison. A Becker County man will spend the next 12 years behind bars after a teen girl came forward saying she endured years of sexual abuse. Terry Harrison now stands convicted of 1 felony count of criminal sexual conduct. Documents say a report was made last March to the Becker County Sheriff's Office when a 13-year-old girl said Harrison had been touching her since she was 6 or 7. She also said he forced her to perform sex acts. Documents also say the victim and her mother confronted Harrison, which was all recorded on a cell phone. Harrison has also been ordered to 10 additional years of conditional release. Well, it's been a beautiful week, but how's it going to look for the St. Patrick's Day parade? Hutch joins us to tell us if we'll have the luck of the Irish on Saturday. Hutch?
Oi, yeah, things are looking really good as we head through the evening tonight. We're starting to see some sunshine across the Southern Valley, and even many of our northern counties seeing at least peaks of sun here and there, although you have more clouds than us. Oh, and Larry the Leprechaun here wishing everybody, along with all of us here at Valley News Live, a very happy St. Patrick's Day. All right, here's a look at your temperatures. How about 45 in Fargo, 54 for Aberdeen, 50 in Sisseton. A wonderful day. We do have some 30s up in the Northern Valley, some clouds lingering there, holding your temperatures back, but also a little bit more in the way of snow. Now, you may recall yesterday in the trees of Baudette, Bemidji, and all the way down into the Park Rapids area, we saw temperatures in the 50s. A bit of a cool down there today, but less sun as well showing up here. As we head through the night, fog once again in the forecast. But if you're heading out tonight on your St. Patrick's Day, 41 degrees this evening in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Pretty pleasant out there, no matter what you're doing. Here's the hour by hour, as we'll see temperatures slipping off below freezing again tonight. Stacy, that means it could be slippery out there, so make sure you rough up the bottom of your shoes. Of hour by hour details on what you can expect for that weekend ahead, but a hint, it looks very nice for the big parade, so make your plans now.
All right, good news there. Thanks, Hutch.
Yes.
We're learning more about a knife attack at the Bismarck Airport that we first reported on earlier this week. It's raising questions about security after police say the assault suspect tampered with an airport power supply first. Security footage shows the man turning off power in the airport Monday night, causing the backup generator to start. An airport official says the electrical infrastructure area is kept open and unlocked so first responders can get to it. Christopher Fonseca is in jail for assaulting a police officer, reckless endangerment, and criminal mischief. Police allege he stabbed an officer who was responding to a disturbance. TSA employees and bystanders helped the officer get control of the suspect. Court documents say following his arrest, Fonseca made comments about blowing up the airport with a can of WD-40. It's not clear why he was at the airport because he didn't have a ticket to board a plane. A program through the North Dakota Department of Transportation is offering discounted Lyft rides for St. Patrick's Day. Use code VZMarch1 to get $10 off a Lyft ride today through Monday. The ND Sober Ride program offers discount codes around major holidays and events in an effort to keep drunk drivers off the roads. It's funded through a grant from AAA of North Dakota. Although the Irish holiday is today, Saturday is the St. Patrick's Day Parade in downtown Fargo. It all starts at 11 a.m. at Broadway and MP Avenue, moving through downtown on Broadway. It's the 25th year of this tradition, and one of the parade co-founders gives us a little history of its evolution.
And we had, a lot of families And we got floats later on, and businesses came in, you know, they had shamrocks on them, and we were probably got it built up to 60 units. You know, that's family and businesses and people walking.
This year, they say the parade has about 50 floats and will last about an hour. On this St. Patrick's Day, no one is ready to celebrate more than the owners of Irish pubs. They were some of the first small businesses to feel the pain of the pandemic, forced to close just before the holiday in 2020. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has more on how they're toasting to a return to normal.
At McGee's Pub in New York City, they've spent decades pouring pints for regulars. But for the first time in a long time, the neighborhood pub is starting to feel regular again.
The restrictions are all lifted, so we're looking for a pre-COVID Paddy's Day.
Manager and partner Frank McCauley remembers the moment in 2020 when he was gearing up for big St. Patrick's Day crowds. The pandemic forced him to close.
You couldn't pick a worse time. No, we lost our busiest day of the year.
Pubs have always been more than a place for a drink. They're part of the community.
It brings the neighborhood together.
But so many pubs didn't survive the pandemic. Irish pubs have closed across the country, from Boston to Denver, Dallas to Sacramento.
Well, the Irish are known for their hospitality.
Sean Murphy writes about New York bars for his website Murph Guide. Tracking pandemic closings, he's counted 25 Irish pubs in Manhattan permanently shuttered. That's more than 10%.
What is lost when one of these pubs closes?
A business owner loses his livelihood, employees lose their jobs, people lose their favorite watering hole. So losses on both sides of the bar.
Guys, how are we doing? How's everything here?
So this St. Patty's, survivors like McGee's are celebrating and counting on others to join in.
Getting back to doing what we do, running a pub.
It's taken more than the luck of the Irish to make it. And now raise a glass to the future. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
In other COVID news, the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine remained effective against infection and hospitalization during the Delta variant surge. A new study says it found that the single-shot vaccine was 76% effective in preventing COVID infection and 81% in preventing COVID-related hospitalization during that time. It also found the vaccine remained durable up to 180 days after vaccination. Researchers collected and analyzed insurance claims data for more than 422,000 people who got the vaccine and compared that to the 1.6 million who didn't. The study is consistent with data from a trial used by the FDA to issue emergency use authorization for the vaccine last February. The Fargo Police Department's newest canine recruit is training to prepare him for shift work. Thor is a 13-month-old Belgian Malinois who was born in Minnesota. His partner, Officer Elliot Olerud, says this breed of dog makes a great police dog because of its high drive and intense sense of smell. He says they're also protective of their owners. Canine Thor is training 40 hours a week for the next 12 weeks. The war in Ukraine is entering its fourth week, and Russian forces have yet to capture a major city, but the casualties are mounting, and State Department officials have confirmed an American was killed in one of the strikes. Police say artillery attack also killed civilians. As searchers are sifting through rubble looking for survivors of another attack, survivors slowly emerge from a theater that was said to be sheltering more than 1,000 people. Satellite images prior to the blast show the word children painted in Russian so bombers could see it. President Biden called Russian President Vladimir Putin a war criminal yesterday. The White House later said the president was speaking from his heart, not necessarily officially declaring him a war criminal.
Speaking from what he's seen on television, which is barbaric actions by a brutal dictator through his invasion of a foreign country.
The White House says the president will speak with China's president Friday to discuss the war in Ukraine. The meeting comes amid reports that China may be preparing to supply Russia with military equipment. Well, thousands of refugees making their way out of Ukraine are going to great lengths to bring their furry friends with them. Volunteers are ready at the borders to help. CBS's Riley Carlson reports from London.
A few bags are all Jana Zelieva could bring with her when she escaped from her home in Kyiv to safety in Poland. Inside one of them, her treasured cat Zyka.
I think that's my son. I really love him, and I never lost him in Kyiv.
More than 3 million people have fled Ukraine in the 3 weeks since the war with Russia began, more than half of them to Poland. That's where this shelter for stranded animals is set up. Some are street dogs, many are family pets left behind.
Then sometimes with a letter and weather right. We hope we can find our dogs and cats again. I'm getting very emotional because this is very hard.
Other animals haven't even made it out. They've been dropped off at this shelter in Lviv, where volunteers are desperate to help.
If I can bring food here and take some animals back to safety, I can't stay at home.
At the border with Romania, animal rescue workers are handing out food and water, but also blankets for pets who've been battling the cold. They also help with vaccines and documents.
Big part of them are not remaining into Romania, but are going to other countries where they need papers.
Helping refugees like Yana and her family stay together as their country is torn apart. Riley Carlson, CBS News.
Just heartbreaking. And earlier this month, 3 volunteers were killed while trying to deliver dog food to a shelter in Ukraine. Their car was reportedly ambushed by Russian forces. A story we first shared a year ago finally has a happy ending. Last June, a man leaving the country released more than 80 budgies or parakeets into the area. A call for help was put out to find the birds who were likely to die if left on their own. The community responded with people bringing the birds and their unhatched eggs to local shelters. And tonight at 5, Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley shares what happened to the birds and how many were rescued.